This is a new day to try to get right. This is a new day to get on track. Yeah, that's life in football. This is a new day to live your life. This is a new day to try to get right. This is a new day to get on track. Yeah, that's life in football. It's life in football. We are life in football.
You are now listening to the Life in Football podcast. Check out the new website, lifeinfootball.com. Once again, the website is lifeinfootball.com. Thanks for listening.
Welcome to the Life in Football podcast, baby. I'm your host, Mike V.
And this your coach, Colin Moore. You know we loving life and enjoying football.
Hometown legend, hometown hero. That's your big dog who I'm getting ready to talk to. He goes by the name of Sylvester Hatten. Represent Gadsden County, baby. Gadsden County, Florida. Now, Hatten played offensive lineman. I met him at an early age. But a lot of y'all may not know, Hatten, when I met him, he was playing quarterback. He was playing for Greensboro High School junior varsity. And at that time, I think I know I was in the 8th grade and he was in the 7th grade playing quarterback. And that's amazing. He was the JV quarterback as 7th grader. Started. He had the number 1 jersey on. Still remember it to this day. He had that number 1 jersey on, playing for them Greensboro Bulldogs. And, you know, he did his thing, man. A young cat out there doing his thing. And yeah, I was trying to take his head off, but I got to give my props to him because, you know, at that time I was bigger than him. And then moved later on when he went to high school. Put it like this. It's like I was Ray Lewis and he turned into Orlando Pace. And for y'all who don't know, Orlando Pace was a top-notch offensive lineman in the country, almost won the Heisman Trophy. And what I mean by saying that, Hatten grew, man. This dude, I'm talking about, he shot up like a tree. Standing probably about 6'3", close to 300 at that time. And it was like, oh, man, look how time just fly. You know, they got him turned into a monster. And he was one of the best offensive linemen in the Big Bend area. Now, let me give y'all a little breakdown. Like I just gave y'all some information. He played at Greensboro High School. He eventually moved on to East Gadsden High School, which is now Gadsden County High School. That's located in Havana, Florida / Quincy, Florida. You can kind of say that. But at that time, he was playing with him. It was East Gadsden High School. He went on to play at Alabama State. And then he left Alabama State, went on to Dodge City. Now, if y'all know, some of y'all may not, but Alabama State, that's a HBCU. He ended up leaving that because he wanted to try the D1 level, you know, go a level higher. So he said, well, you know, let me go try that junior college. He left Alabama State, and he was starting at Alabama State too. And he went to New Mexico State and played for the not New Mexico State, but he went to New Mexico and played for the Lobos. I'm telling y'all, man, this is an amazing story. Let me tell you why you got to make sure you always show love and treat people in a certain way. Sylvester Hatten is an important part of my life. This like a family member to me, like a brother to me. Even though I actually ain't never played on the same team with him, I almost did at Alabama State. He was a pivotal part of my life for me going to Alabama State. Like, the coach was already showing me love, Coach Copeland, when I was in high school, but turn around, come back 360, Coach Copeland, he's still there. He remember me from high school and Hatten up there telling them, man, if y'all don't get my dog up here, I know so. I'm telling y'all, man, he a ball player. He a dog. Y'all got to have him. And with his backing and his word, and cause he was doing his thing, they like, well, dog, Coach Copeland already kind of know about him. We got to bring him in. So, you know, I end up getting a scholarship to Alabama State. And it's just so amazing that I got him on the line today, and we're going to hear this great story. and we just gonna go ahead and kick it off. This is the story of Sylvester Hatten.
Hatten, what's happening, man?
What's going on?
So Mike done laid it out how big time he is, but he done threw something out that we just got to go back and talk about now. So you playing QB. So if you play QB, I know from about 5, from kindergarten to the 7th grade, you out there getting down. So if you went from QB to lineman, how was that transition? Like, what happened? What your family was saying? Because if you going from throwing that ball to now you got to put your hand in the dirt and knock somebody's face off, what your family was saying and how you felt about the whole transition.
You don't get no glory on that line. So, I was kind of disappointed. I can still remember like it was yesterday. It was one summer, man. After my 7th grade year, I just kind of blew up. I may have grew 3 or 4 inches. Like, I was never fast. I was just, I could throw the ball. I'm a lefty. But it was a big change, going from the glamour to going to putting your hand in the dirt. But it was all worth it. I got an opportunity to play a lot of different positions when I played. So, I can talk about a lot of that firsthand with, kids now and, my children.
So when you was in high school, how was it to get from high school to Alabama State?
It was pretty easy to do that. I kind of went there. My father played in high school and he went to Alabama State. Although he only went for 1 year, it kind of, back in that time, I kind of wanted to go because he went there. So, and also my high school coach played there. And Rodell Thomas, he played there and then he went on to play in the NFL. So that opportunity going there was pretty simple. When I got there, though, I just felt like I kind of shorted myself because I did have Division Ones looking at me. And I had Division I offers back in the 10th, 11th grade when I was at Greensboro. So I just felt like I could make that jump to play Division I football at the same level I played at Alabama State.
Now, you got to break that down a little more for me now. How you end up choosing Alabama State? Because I know you had other schools you were thinking about and considering. Like, what was that final staple for you to end up going there?
Believe it or not, the final staple it actually came down to, I got offered from Louisville in my 11th grade year, and then I got offered from NC State, and then some other Alabama A&M, FAMU. But what really came down to me choosing Alabama State was the distance from home. It was the closest, other than FAMU. I didn't want to stay home, but it was the closest out of any other schools. And at that time, I still had a love for coming home to seeing my family when I can easily. So there was a couple of guys from Tallahassee I met on my recruiting trip, Alabama State, and they told me they was gonna sign there, so I ended up signing there too.
Now y'all gotta understand, this man ended up starting, as a freshman with Alabama State, and some of y'all may not understand the logistics and the power of HBCU football. It's some big time ball get played out there. I'm talking about, don't disrespect it looking and thinking, oh, it's just okay. Like how people looking at Deion saying, oh, Deion Sanders finna come and ball. Like, no, sir. You better get in there and put in some work and then prove yourself on top of that. Cause it's like when I first got there, I'm gonna tell y'all my first day. So I'm so happy I'm seeing Hatten. He a familiar face. So he get me in contact and hook me up with all the ball players and let me know what's going on. And so it just was so comfortable for me to have him there with me. But my first day, man, we had a coach named Coach Scott. Y'all, this was the first day I was like, man, I think I done messed up. Cause I couldn't even finish the workout. about to throw up and everything, just like, oh man, this serious and all. And probably that year before, a few months before that, I got to see Haddon play, and they played Grambling. They had a home game. They played Grambling, and just me seeing that game and the environment and the atmosphere, it just was so amazing to me. But it made me realize, like, boy, there's some big time ball. Cause they had a quarterback back then, Grambling did, named Bruce Eugene. Then Alabama State had a top-notch quarterback, rest in peace to Void Jackson. So the game was just amazing. So give me your take how it was for you, like when you first getting at Bama State and how your experience was there.
Oh man, when I first got there, I mean, I first realized that it's a big difference between high school football and college football. Like you were saying, all that's HBCU, I'm thinking, it's a cakewalk, but Mr. Coach Scott was the truth. The workouts, I couldn't even, man, it took me a while to get acclimated to actually working out in college, actually going to class, and actually practicing so much. And like I said, I came in with a rest in peace. Tavares Jackson was an NFL, ended up getting drafted in the second round. He was a professional. So when I came into college, so I'm blocking for him, and I'm his left tackle. I'm his blind side. So he stayed on me. So it was like you got this much, pressure on you, and once I got acclimated though, it became easy. It became fun because I was playing with some great guys. We had a running back that was a transfer from Tennessee. We had Tavares that transferred from Arkansas. We had a lot of big time ball players playing on that team. And we actually won the SWAC championship my first year there. So to me, it was like I had never won a championship before. So it was like a dream come true when I first got there.
Simo.
Yeah, were you the only true freshman starting on the O-line?
The only one.
Oh, you came through there swinging and banging. Now, you left there and went JUCO, but what made you, so you just had to wake up one day and say, man, look, I can't take this no more. I know I'm D1. I should have went D1, so I'm going to go and bust that move. So how did that come into play?
To be honest, I had one of the best coaches in America at Alabama State, offensive line. My offensive line coach, Chris Kapilovic, he was one of the best in the business. Probably one of another reason why I went there. He taught me everything I needed to know. In high school, I didn't know mechanics. I didn't have, technique. I just was pure playing up raw talent. But, he taught me how to be an offensive lineman. And my second year there, after my second season, he was leaving. I think the first job he left for, he's been coaching all over now. He left there with the Southern Miss. From there, he coached at the University of North Carolina. Right now, he's currently the offensive line coach and the assistant head coach at Michigan State. So once he left, I talked to him. I'm just like, Coach, man, who's gonna be my coach now? And I kind of felt like, everyone had done left. Tavares had done left. We was kind of starting over. But it got to the point of where I was getting bored, from beating guys in practice, or I was getting bored from just being in that environment. So I just went back to saying, man, them boys in D1 be living. I just want to, you know what I mean? And then at that time I had the opportunity. I was like, well, how can you go up? If you go up, you got to sit out. Ain't nobody just going to give me no scholarship. So I had to go JUCO, and I was like, it's getting recruited all over again. So my coach leaving, played a big role in me deciding to end up. Even though I wanted to stay, I once Fig got there, and I was like, man, I ain't never played with him though. Never been on the same team. And I ain't gonna lie, one a big thing, I ended up going to Division I and playing and balling out or whatever. But part of me wish I would have just stayed. To be honest with you.
And I'm gonna speak on that what he talking about, y'all. So just imagine we in the middle of spring, and he already gave me the heads up. Now he already told me, man, I'm getting ready to leave. Honestly, y'all, I'm thinking he just talking. But we had a shout out to Carl. We had another friend named Carl. These people, he had, like his homeboy became my homeboy. So Carl, Chris, and Carl kept talking about it. So I'm like, man, why he keep doing that? And Haddon was sincere. He was really thinking about doing this, making this move from Alabama State to go to junior college. A lot of the coaches ain't know at the time, and I'm in a way I'm feeling sad, but I'm happy because I know as a player, all of us got that dream to play D1 ball. Hands down, I don't care what nobody say. Everybody got that dream to go play D1 ball. So I couldn't knock him for that. But it was like, oh man, he getting ready to leave. And at the same time, it's like I kind of fell in love with Alabama State, man. He was we were going to the club, like the environment. He was like he had me around certain people, and even Tavoy Jackson, I ended up being around him. Cause I had Ian's car, special car too. So it was just like people with the connection from me to him. It was almost like a true bond. So when he getting ready to leave, like I said, man, it was almost like, oh man, it, it was a sad day. Even some of the teammates and everybody was sad. The coaches, I'm not kidding y'all. It was just sad all the way around the board. Like, man, you ain't gonna talk to him. Like, man, he gone. Yeah, cause I knew it when he wasn't coming to no more practices and workouts and stuff. He pretty much had already then made it certified, that he was gonna make this move. So, just speaking on that a little bit. Now, when you get ready to leave Dodge City and going to New Mexico, I always wanted to know, like, was it any other schools you were considering going to, you know, other than New Mexico? Like, did you have any other scholarships offers coming out of JUCO?
Oh man, I had JUCO was fun, man. I ended up first team JUCO All American, first team All Conference. Man, I had a plethora of offers in junior college. I mean, I had University of Kansas, I had Marshall, I had Troy, I had Middle Tennessee, I actually had big schools coming in on me, and my lifelong, I've been a Gator fan my whole life, and I was right there on the cusp of being in Gainesville. And they came out, they had one scholarship out left, and they wanted to save it for this guy. I'll never forget him, Tommy Duhart. He from South Florida, but he ended up he spurned them. He didn't go there. He ended up going to Pittsburgh. But I ended up signing to New Mexico just because, the way it was when I went. It made me feel like I could come there and pretty much had me feeling like I was gonna be a quarterback, even though, I was a left tackle. But the truth is I was going to the University of Kansas. I was committed. I was going to go, and right before, I only went to Dodge City for one semester. That was the fall semester. But Kansas, after looking at my transcript, Kansas is an academic school. A couple of my classes wasn't going to transfer to Kansas, so I couldn't go in the spring. I had to go back to Dodge City to take 2 classes. But if I don't know, you guys may have never been to Kansas, but it's nothing there. And all of my other homeboys, they were signing mid-year. And I just didn't want to go back to Dodge City just to take 2 classes. So I ended up signing with the University of New Mexico. But I should have went back and took them classes because I really love Kansas. I love that environment, University of Kansas. And actually that year I was supposed to went there. They went to they won a BCS Bowl. That was the year they beat Virginia Tech. So, like I said, I still think about that too.
Now we got to get down to the nitty gritty, man. Give us your background, how it was for you growing up, and like your family dynamics. Who helped you to become the person that you are today?
Man, growing up, I grew up on a dirt road. No brothers, just two older sisters, pretty much. And my mom's pops, he was in and out. But, back in his day, he was a phenom. So, he did his best to push me and, to try to get me and mold me into being, to be honest with you, initially starting out growing up, I want to be a basketball player. I used to, because it was so easy to practice basketball. You just get out there and you shoot, and you work on shooting. And like I said, I was a lefty. So I was pretty good at shooting. So I used to grow up and be like, man, I'm going to be a basketball player. To be honest with you, I didn't want to play football. The first time I played football, my dad made me play. And I got hit so hard. That's probably the hardest lick I ever probably still felt in my whole life. And in my mind, though, I said either I'm going to hit somebody like that or I'm going to keep getting hit like that. So it changed something in me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm going to hit them first. I can't. There's no way I want somebody to hit me like that. So so I kind of grew that dynamic. I had a couple of athletes in the family. I had an uncle that was playing basketball at Shanks, and everybody I started being around were involved in sports. If you weren't in sports, we probably weren't friends. So that kind of helped my dad. I went to a couple of football camps, Florida State football camp. I went to a Florida football camp, and just that created me. That started the process of me becoming, eventually becoming a Division I football player.
And see, I remember, for some reason, like back in the day, it's crazy because it's kind of like I knew you before I knew you. Because I remember your daddy being around at a lot of stuff for some reason. And like for sports, like I would see him. And it's just amazing that he played at Alabama State, because this is something I never knew. And it just kind of breaking it. You both played on the coach Rodell Thomas. He played at Alabama State. Ricky Smith, Coach Hudley, your daddy. I think Sean Moe daddy played. He was a kicker there. I think Cody daddy might even play there too, man. So like, that's a amazing dynamic to have that, connection from Alabama State to Gadsden County like that. And how was it for you, man, when you heard about Tavard Jackson, the passing of him, like, and give us your, your connection with him too.
Oh man, that kind of killed me there. Jack, like I said, I called him Jack, T-Jack. Man, that was my boy. Like I said, initially coming in, I didn't really like him because he stayed on me. He stayed. But Tavar was a fun-loving guy, man. He loved a joke. You know what I'm saying? He'll give you the shirt off his back. I had recently seen him, maybe a year or two prior. He threw a party in the Gump, and I went up. We hung out. Just a great guy, man. Great father, great coach. He was coaching at the time. He was a quarterback coach at Tennessee State. And I mean, when I first heard it, which I heard it that night, I couldn't even believe it. It was just unbelievable. And even now, it's still unbelievable. Carr's still one of my great friends. We was talking late last night. And that we brought that up. We was talking about just getting ourselves, setting our families up in a better situation, because he was married with children, both me and Carl, we're married with children as well. Just never know when that time gonna be. So, you got to stay on top of your game as far as life insurance and health insurance, and you just never know when when you're gonna take that last breath. But thinking of Tavares, I still see his smile right now. If he could hear me right now, he'd be smiling. And I always called him Horse because his teeth, his smile is bigger than his teeth frame. But he was a great guy, man. I love him. I love him to death.
Yeah, and just hearing you talk about it, man, it just make me feel a kind of way, because by the time I got to Bama State, he was getting ready to go to the draft, and like I say, that connection from you and getting to know people, like it crushed me too, because I ended up making a little connection with him and Mike Cole, and that kind of like when I heard the news, man, it just threw my whole almost day in week off, and just the person he was, I did hear he ain't play no game. Now, when it came to that football, like if you're a receiver, you dropping that ball, not the coach not telling you to come out, he telling you to get out the game. This is Alabama State,
Oh yeah.
and it was like he was like an urban legend in the Gump. Everybody loved him. You better not try to mess with him. The whole club gonna jump on top of your head. This true stuff I'm saying right now.
Oh yeah.
And TJ, he got love from everybody, from the barber shop. You almost couldn't go in a barber shop in Montgomery, Alabama, and ain't see a TJ poster up. I'm talking about this when he was playing at Bama State. So, that's why I say he was like an urban legend, man. And even when I remember after he got drafted, and it was Carl, I think it was Carl. Yeah, it was Carl. Carl was sitting in the new Lexus with him. And so I'm just sitting outside of the complex. I can't remember. I was looking at some book. And Carl was like, Phil, what you doing, man? Come on, get in the car. And so, I end up getting in the car. And at this time, that Lexus, that TJ, he had just bought it, man. It was clean, one of the nicest whip I ever seen in person. And I went inside in the car with him. He just so cool, like, yeah, man. Because I ain't want to get in there. I just got done working out. He like, no, come on, get on in. And he just was cool like that. And even during the summertime, he would come out there and work out with us at Bama State. And he didn't even play it in. Like, he'll set the whole workout up for a 7-on-7. And he was just a straightforward type of guy, man. And I just want to say, man, shout out to him and his family. And, shout out to the whole Gump, TJ, we miss you. Now, my last thing for you, is there anything you could say to younger players or athletes out there who are thinking about, their career? Because it's a lot of transferring going on, but some of it is not successful. But you had a situation where every school you went to, you dominated and you started, and yours was a successful transfer. So if you could just give a little inspiration to the younger athletes out there.
Man, like I said, I did it. I was able to pull that off, but like I said, I do have regrets. I felt like my experiences I would have had more genuine experiences if I would have just stayed at Alabama State. I grew to love people there, and still go there now. But even though every school I've been to is like that, it's just that at the HBCU, it's a little bit different. But like I said, man, I just make conscious decisions before you sign with these schools, and to me now, if you ask me now, I kind of don't even like the transport portal. So me now, I would be, unless there's a dire need, unless there's a real situation, until you have to, maybe get closer to home, or, really weigh that thing out and don't just do it because it seemed popular. Because, like I said, it worked for me, but I did play with guys that it didn't work for. I played with guys that transferred from other schools. At New Mexico, I was there with guys that transferred from bigger Division I schools, and they didn't even play at the University of New Mexico. I had guys in junior college. In junior college, you may not know, that'd be some of the best players in the world. They just didn't have the grades or whatever, or, and some of them didn't make the team. When I went to Kansas, they only picked 12 out-of-state players to make the team, 12. So we got 100 people in camp. Only 12 of them people are going to make the team. Those others are just going to practice, and hopefully they get offers from practice film. So even though I think it's different now, I think it's unlimited in Kansas now. But just make conscious decisions, and you'll know when you're in the right fit and when you're at the right place. Pray about everything.
Hey, y'all heard it right here, man. That's Sylvester Hatten, and he played at New Mexico for the Lobos. He started on the offensive line. Started both years he was there. He started at Dodge City Community College. He started for them Alabama State Hornets. He started at East Gadsden. He started at Greensboro High School. This is a man of integrity. He got kids he love and take care of. He got a wife who is an Alabama State Hornet. So that just show you the love that he got there. I remember her when she was at Alabama State. I ain't really, talk to her nothing like that, but she was always around with school spirit. And for all y'all who don't know, people who go to HBCUs, for some reason, it's a strong love for the school. Like that's something like I got for Alabama State to this day, man. I don't know why it's so strong like that, but I love them Alabama State Hornets. I hate to see them lose. I don't care if they playing Auburn. I hate to see them lose. And this is like a real brother to me, a real family member. I gotta give a shout out to everybody from Gadsden County, cause this is one of the Gadsden County legends, Sylvester Hatten, y'all. And when I say a brother, he made sure I was took care of at Alabama State, and not by really just telling nobody, just connecting with certain people. Like Carl became a good homeboy of mine when I was there. He let me stay at his house, for a few weeks during the summer when I was looking for somewhere to stay. I mean, for for school to open back up. Chris Matt Williams, Ricky Cole, Ricky Cole. They used to say that Ricky Cole. What's that other guy name? I think his name was Chris. He used to play on the offensive line.
Chris Myers.
Chris Myers, yeah, Chris Myers. Duncan, man, it's a lot. Not Duncan, Dunson. That's what his name. It was a lot of these guys got close to me, really, cause and like I had built a relationship there. So, this show you the type of stand-up guy Sylvester Hatten is. He always gonna be a brother of mine. Anytime he need me, I'm gonna be there for him. Cause that's what football creates. It creates relationship and family. And I just gotta show love to him again and thank him again for coming on. And I'm gonna leave y'all how I always leave y'all. Keep your head up and not down, or else you'll fall to the ground. This is Life in Football Podcast. Catch you next time.
You are now listening to the Life in Football podcast. Check out the new website, lifeinfootball.com. Once again, the website is lifeinfootball.com. Thanks for listening.
This is a new day to live your life. This is a new day to try to get right. This is a new day to get on track. Yeah, that's life in football. This is a new day to live your life. This is a new day to try to get right. This is a new day to get on track. Yeah, that's life in football. It's life in football.